Being 7 o'clock, we'll call to order the meeting of the Fitchburg Public Safety and Human Services for September 26, 2023, held in the Jeannie Seelig room at City Hall. Tonight, Alders Strassman and Allen are joining me, so we have our full quorum. Public appearances for non-agenda items, we do not have any. I don't believe anyone has signed up. So that takes us to item 3, Alpha and Bravo, approval of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Allen. Any questions on the consent agenda?
No.
I'll just note that on the routine licenses, there are 5, and they are all new for various businesses in Fitchburg. Okay. So we'll call the vote. All in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next we have 4L for review of the following license applications. A sound permit. Come on up, Scott.
Yeah.
MTM Hot Musicals fundraiser. Scott Glogboski.
Yep.
5636 Lacey Road, Fitchburg, for the MTM Hot Musicals fundraiser to be held at McKee Farms Park on Wednesday, October 4th, from 5:30 to 8 with amplified music. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Allen. Scott, tell me about the event.
So we've done this event in at McKee Farms in the past. We did it last year as well, and actually had approval a few months ago to have sound there, but unfortunately we had to cancel due to the smoke from the forest fires. I wasn't aware of the rescheduling policy, so I was not able to, I did not move the sound permit, so resubmitted again for our newly scheduled date.
Okay. Who are you raising the money for?
Yeah, so this is for Music Theater of Madison. We're a local professional theater company. Perform all around the Madison area and work with local actors as much as we can for those shows. This is a fundraiser for us, so we have some local musicians that are going to be eating hot wings and singing show tunes. So it should be a fun night.
Cool. Yeah, really cool. All right. Just know, for your information, that it is a public park, so there will be people there that might not be there for your event.
Sure,
so you have to
absolutely.
be respectful of them, and
Yep.
we ask at the amplified sound at 8. You shut it down. Okay.
That sounds good.
Any questions for Scott?
No.
Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor of the MTM Hot Music's fundraiser, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the motion carries. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you so much.
Tracy should send you a permit in the mail.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Good luck with your event.
Thank you, Scott.
We have good weather. Okay. Next, we have agenda item 5A, resolution R17523, amending the 2023 grant donation fund budget, PD bounce back grant funds. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Allen. Okay. Matt, would you like to run this?
Sure. So this is very similar to a lot of the budget amendments that have been coming for this grant. Hopefully this is probably going to be one of the last ones because the grant does end in December of this year. So we're trying to make a push to try to utilize all the funds that the DOA has provided us. So this budget amendment is for $10,500 to assist Human Resources Department with a lot of our hiring conditions, such as psychological, drug, and medical screening. Right now that all comes out of HR's budget, and she allocates $10,500 for the police department, and we've already surpassed that amount. So we're anticipating hopefully hiring 7 more. However, you never know if that full amount is going to be utilized, but so we're trying to assist in offsetting that cost for HR and utilizing the grant funding for that. In addition to that, $3,500 to be used for the purchase of Class A/Honor Guard style uniforms for command staff, which these uniforms would be then required to be worn by all command staff members during promotional ceremonies, badge pinning ceremonies, funerals, law enforcement specific events where Class A uniforms are required. They're typically anywhere between $700 and $900 for a full Class A uniform, so they do kind of surpass the normal allocated amount for uniforms that we do get, or uniform loans that we do get from the city every year. So
who would they be? You and Nat?
Chief and both of the lieutenants.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Anything else in here, is that it?
No, that's it. We did repurpose $300 from a resolution back in 2022, which was the training budget. The training dollar amount requested from this budget, we repurposed $300 of that just to ensure that the total amount here, the $14,000, was accurately budgeted for.
How many vacancies do we have right now?
I think we have approximately 7 right now,
And how many recruits are in the pipeline?
As far as potential hires, so we did recently have a hiring process, an interview process, and we're currently backgrounding 5 out of that. As many of you may or may not know, just because you're moving on to the background phase, it's maybe 5, maybe 2 coming out of that.
Interviewing with more than one.
Correct. And there are 14 additional applicants in that we might try to expedite those 14 just to see if we can get a deeper pool of potentials that we could background. But then we also have to have the staff to be able to background the candidates. So hopefully we can try to get them.
So once you hire a patrol officer, they have 6 months of training or?
Well, at the academy or just on field training?
In field training.
So in field, once they get back from the academy, which is 720 hours, approximately 4 to 5 months, then it's, they say that it is approximately 14 weeks of field training. Mm-hmm. So it's 4 weeks for steps 1, 2, and 3, and then a 2-week shadow period. So that 14 weeks could balloon into 17 weeks, depending if they want a week extension at the end of each of those steps. A lot of times if they're requesting a week extension in step 3, there's probably troubles on the horizon for that individual. And trust me, this job's not for everybody. And we recognize that. The speed at which Fitchburg operates and what's expected of officers is probably, it could probably go toe-to-toe with jurisdictions like the city of Madison and some of those suburbs of Milwaukee, just because of our calls for service and what we expect from our officers, what the community expects.
So from the time you have an accepted offer with an officer to the time that they're actually out on their own patrolling is almost a year.
Yeah, it's almost a year, and by the time they're off probation, it's another year. So it's a 2-year process to be a quote-unquote full-fledged member of the police department. It takes a while, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes what it takes.
No, certainly can't. No. You gotta make sure. And with these pre-employment conditions, it's very important with the psychological, especially the psychological, medical, and drug screening. So.
Is it shortened if you have someone that's had been in military police, or is it still going to be the same? It's
still the same. Military police operates on a completely different set of rules and expectations. They're not a sworn law enforcement officer. They can do what they do in the military. They just can't. Okay. We've had a lot of success with people, with officers that were previously in the military, but I wish it was as easy as just hiring somebody that was a military police or security forces or some other MP from a different branch.
Understood. Thank you for the explanation.
Absolutely.
Shannon, any questions? No. Okay. I don't have any. Jay, any more?
I think I asked enough.
All right. Those are good questions. Good questions. Then we'll call the vote. All in favor of Resolution R 17523, amending the 2023 grant donation fund budget, PD bounce back grant fund. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next, announcements. Next meeting will be October 10th. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Alan. All in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:09.